Hello, everyone. This is actually a wonderful moment for all of us that we have Kalpesh Jain from Chennai, who has secured All India rank 2 in CA Finals May 2023. Kalpesh, how's the feel?
It's kind of very unreal, to be very honest. Still can't come to the sense of entitlement that yes, I have got an All India rank too, because rank plus it is a single digit rank. So and in the top three, the news is spread very fast. Many people are asking, and it's kind of a goosebumps feeling that. But I'm not even trying to exaggerate, but I'm really not come to a sense that I've cleared my CA finals and all this because a day yesterday, the same time I was anxious. I mean, just a half an hour before, I was really anxious about what was the result. I just prayed, give me 400, and today the whole day is different. Within a span of half an hour, everything changed. It's kind of very surreal feeling for me, to be very honest.
Wow. So what was that moment of, I am sure you will be able to relive that not just once, multiple times. When you saw the result, how did it happen?
So actually, I got a call from the president of ICI just around 10 minutes prior to the result. And the call was like, congratulations, you've got an All India rank too. For a 5 or 6 second, I was numb. I could not understand what was going around me. I couldn't believe it was the president. So he said, you can check out your results once it is made online. So till that moment, I did not believe that there was an All India rank too. So straight away, I went to the portal. I logged in the results. Yes, it was two pass. That is the first criteria. That is the first thing I want to see was two pass more than anything. And then I went and saw the merit. It was the number two was shown, and I could not express it how I felt. And the moment I told my parents, and they were like, "Is it your result? And have you checked it once? Confirm it so that we can tell others." Before that, what happened was in my office, and all my relatives saw that the institute published the pass percentage along with the toppers, and they started calling even before confirming the news. So it was kind of everyone came to know even on prior hand. So it was a very good feeling, and I could really see the happiness in the eyes of my parents. And that moment, I felt that all the hard work, those 2.5 years and the 4 months of study leaves were absolutely worth it because everything just felt it was worth it. I mean, still can't really express and put it in words.
So were you kind of expecting that you would be getting a rank, at least some rank in CA finals?
No, I was not expecting a rank at all. In fact, when I went on my examination leave, I saw one of your videos, and I think there a person told me, I think November 22 results came in. There was an interaction with a ranker. They had told that they had never got a rank in the previous any levels of CA. So that kind of motivated me to, okay, let's try prepare for a rank. If we prepare for a rank, we might scrape through the exams, like we'll get 400 plus. Let's prepare, but expect for just 400. So I was at no point yesterday expecting the rank, beat alone for any like All India 2 or All India 3 or single digit. I was not expecting. I just wanted to pass because even when I prayed, I just prayed, give me 400. I put efforts. I put enough efforts so that I could have got 400. So, but things turned out really good for me, and I had mind when I prepared as if I want a rank. But the moment I entered my examination hall, I was like, let's do whatever it is. Let's forget all the expectations. Let's forget everything. What is there in the question paper? Let's write and come out. And the moment I wrote my paper number 8, I was very much satisfied that irrespective of what the results come out, I'm very satisfied with the efforts that have been put into. And yesterday was a very anxious thing. It was like, give me 400. It's more than enough. I want to cross that line and I never get stuck again in this 4 months keeping on the cycle. So I was very happy with how the results really went.
In fact, I spoke to you yesterday. That was inspirational. You mentioned that you've not got a rank in foundation and intermediate, and you scored where it matters the most, which is CA finals, and that too, a EIR too, which is huge. Were you sure that you'll at least clear, or was there any paper where you were kind of little skeptical?
Yeah, the first paper which kind of ruined the hopes was, I think, direct tax. I think direct tax, we expected something. The paper came out something as well. It was not as per the past pattern, and it was quite complex. I wouldn't say it was a very normal paper. It was a little above par because usually we expected DT to be a little difficult, but the institute just raised its bar because 60, which was my elective, relatively was very easier this time. So DT, I was counting the marks in after writing the exam. It was merely totaling up to somewhere around 40, 45. I don't know whether I under-evaluated myself on that day. I was very skeptical about just I want to clear DT because DT did not really go what I really meant. But fortunately, I ended up getting the second highest mark in my DT in that group. So
Oh.
DT one paper was literally that good, and one paper was SFM. SFM, the last question which I was writing for 20 marks, the first question did not. I was not able to tally the answer, or I mean, I was not very sure about whether I wrote it correct or not. So SFM and DT, but SFM was a little more confident that okay, my other questions really went, but DT was kind of still yesterday it was pinching me, just gave me 40, 45 in DT. I think that group will go off. So DT was one paper because the moment I finished DT paper and came home, I slept. I did not discuss about the paper, and one of my friend called me. I was like, let's aim for an exemption in IDT, not more than that. I'm not discussing DT because that did not really go as per my expectation, but fortunately it turned out to be really well.
And were you able to come out of that and focus on your IDT paper then?
Two reasons, because IDT was the last exam and you knew that this was the last 2 days you have to give for your final examination, like all the 4 months. So it really helped me because I would not really have to study any more papers after that. So one thing that put me up and pushed me for IDT, I would say. And finally that, हो गया अभी क्या कर सकते हैं उसके ऊपर. So I just took the paper, put it somewhere I could not see. I spoke with my friend and it's like, let's try for an exemption in IDT, irrespective of what happens of the result. And that was the whole mindset. Like, even if I were to appear again in the group, I will write just 2 or 3 papers. I will not write all the papers, is what my mindset was.
Okay.
So,
wonderful.
And yeah, if it was the first paper, it would have been a different story maybe, but because I saw actually a last time video, I think law paper went a little bad for many people, and from there they got an all India rank. So I think that is where I took an inspiration, is what because I really refer to all those videos and it kind of really helped me.
Wow. So 3 outcomes actually for the students. One is, interaction with these rankers do help, that was an inspiration to some extent for Kalpesh as well. Second, you need to have a good friend in case if your paper gets a little weird, koi hona chahiye where you can call and he agrees to what you say. And the third, whether it is a ranker or it is a first attempt or it is multiple attempt, everybody has some or the other paper fear before the result. CA mein kabhi aisa nahi hota hai, you'll be rest assured that you'll clear. And there's a similar feedback I've got from all the rankers. I get to understand, in fact, you told me that first group, your highest score was an audit, which is, something which is very exceptional. Usually that's not the paper. So what about audit? You mentioned about using drone charts. And apart from that, what did you do? Tips for the students for paper of audit.
Yeah. So the thing with audit was, I felt audit was a little pain even in my intermediate. I mean, like when I came out of the exam hall in intermediate and I still don't barely remember any word which I've written on it. I ended up clearing that exam with quite a good number. So I was like, this time Inter audit was itself very difficult, but here you already have 3 books, plus you have to cover essay. The syllabus was very vast. It was like the DT of group 1. So one thing was very sure, I divided the whole subject into probably 3 parts: your standards on auditing, your professional ethics and company audit, and all the other chapters, because that is how I bifurcated it. Standards on auditing, what I used to do, I made sure in the 120 days of leave, only it will be hardly 5 to 10 days where I would have not studied audit. Every single day, if audit was on my schedule, I used to study. Else, I would used to take up 1 hour of the day or 1.5 hours. I used to study 2 or 3 standards on auditing, because I knew standards on auditing would at least cover 30 to 35 marks. So I ensured that every day I'm getting up, reading at least 2 to 3 standards on a cumulative basis. I would have ended up reading 4 to 5 times alone standards on auditing. So apart from the normal reading, I was reading standards on auditing. I was giving a lot of focus to it, because it is something which is, because in intermediate it comes as a chapter, but here it is not as a chapter wise. It is a separate syllabus in itself. So standards on auditing, I really concentrated. Number 2 was that I mean, wherever there were pointers, wherever there were like bullet points, or wherever there were like small paragraphs, I focused a lot on that, because I know as an examiner, as a paper setter, you would always want to put those questions which is easier to evaluate. So because if you're going to give a paragraph question, it will be difficult for even them to evaluate. So I concentrated on those points. That also, in fact, I got from a ranker like 2 years back. He was saying that I focused on pointers literally. So that really helped me a lot. And finally, I made sure wherever there were keywords, I just highlighted, and your drone charts really helped me. That essay standards and auditing, I mean, it was literally a visual image when I was studying that, okay, this side, this will come, this side, the responsibilities, this side, the your tips, and all these things were like drone charts, because we don't have a standard material for standards and auditing apart from pronouncement. And pronouncement is not the ideal material you would refer to it, because it's very huge. And so your kind of drone charts really helped me. So I made sure I'm studying audit every single day. except barring a few days. So that really helped me. And in fact, I don't know, for some reason, when audit paper came, it was by far the most difficult paper in the group one. It was really out of the box. But since I had read standards in auditing a little better, I was able to attend the 30-35 marks in a more better manner, because I remember essay 540 came for around 10 marks. They asked 600 series and only 500 series. So kind of really helped me there. There was a bummer that professional ethics did not come the way it came, because we really expected to score in professional ethics. But it was an overall good feeling that audit did really go well for me. In fact, people were talking SFM was difficult, SFM was easier than auditing. I felt the other way around. My audit paper actually went a little better. So I think probably the culmination of everyday studying audit really helped me, because I knew that subject is big, like DT, so you had to give attention to it. It really required attention, I guess.
In fact, I appreciate that, because if the subject is big, you have to allocate more time to
Yes,
it.
yes.
It doesn't happen that
Yes.
all 5 fingers are not same. Similarly,
Yeah.
right? Everyone is equally useful, but you have to allocate time. That's a very valid and thankful strategy. In fact, good that you pointed out, because a lot of students have developed this notion that essays में पढ़ लो या ना पढ़ो, कुछ भी कर लो, exam में होगा तो होगा, नहीं तो नहीं होगा. It's pure luck by chance that we'll be able to solve it, which actually probably is not the case, because you have the necessary question also from it.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I mean, looking to your story, I can feel and relate that it is CA is 99% hard work and 1% luck.
Yes. Yeah. I think you create your own luck is what even I feel, because ultimately what happens, luck is nothing but you keep you ensure you cover everything, and eventually something which you study at the very last minute pops up. That is because you have covered that thing and you understood that is important. That is why you are looking at it at the last minute. I still remember when I was traveling to the examination hall, I read standard accounting 540 review of accounting estimates, prior period estimate you have to review. I read the question. It was question number 2 or 3, if I'm not wrong. I can't call it luck or I don't know, but exact question came on me. I was just reading it for the examination and it really came. So I knew 540 was a very critical standard because I read it twice and I saw, okay, the standard has a lot of things to be tested. So that is how I ensured this was an important standard. And I studied that before the exam and it eventually came. I think that is where we create our own, is what I really, really feel. It is all about perception.
Very good. In fact, so, this is another feedback for the students. अगर एग्जाम में जाते समय भी पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं तो कोई बुराई नहीं है. Sometimes people feel ideal strategy should be घर से निकलने के बाद. There's no one strategy which fits everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's different for
because I still tell you again, for only audit and direct I studied before the examination. 1 o'clock used to be my shutdown time, but only for audit and DT I was studying till 1:30. Before even going to examination also. Like both the things really worked out for me, because it is all here, how much you want to put in. Because I know audit was really, really big, and thanks to Institute, they gave me 2.5 days to study, or else I don't know how that would have been really possible.
What was your feedback on this time's paper? I'm sure you must have gone through the previous attempt papers.
Yeah.
Do you think they were at par, above average, below?
So in all or only in audit? In general or
overall, across both the groups?
Yeah. Across both the groups, I felt comparatively the group one, we expected kind of, I don't know if there were expectations. It was above par for 2 reasons. Number one was, if you had done ABC analysis or you were only thoroughly followed ABC analysis, it would have gone a little trickier for you, because FR paper in this 108 operating segments, they asked for 16 marks, and technically it comes in C category. So, I mean, if you're just gone and if you have not looked before the exam, it would have been horrendous for you. So they did not follow the ABC pattern. Leases did not come up. Share-based payment did not come up in financial reporting. So they mixed up. They never categorized between ABC. So from every nook and corner, they actually asked the questions this time. I still remember FR analysis of financial statement. There was a question for around 12 marks. That makes a question of impairment and PP. So yes, it was above par, because the expected standards or expected concepts really did not come up. In SFM, Forex was really hyped because it did not come for 2 attempts. It still did not come in this attempt. So the institute gave a good mix of all the concepts here. So if you had just done ABC analysis, it would have been a little difficult. And number 2, it was very lengthy. Like all the papers were very, very, very lengthy, because whenever new sum comes, it requires your time to be put in that sum. If it's a seen sum, you might go with the flow. But when it's a new sum, you have to read each and every line and you have to write it down. So it was very lengthy. So the group 1 papers were above par, is what I would say, compared to last 3 or 4 attempts, especially FR, SFM and audit. I think company law or lawyer paper 4 was literally the same pattern. But the group two relatively was easier in terms of SEMP and your economic law, if you had taken economic law. Because SEMP, this time the ratio of practical sums were higher than your, because this time it was reversed. Before it used to be
Okay.
7 mark analyzed, 3 marks was the sum, but this time the roles were reversed, I think.
Okay.
So in that manner, the costing subject was a bit easier, and paper 6 getting 3 of the case study really came from the digest. So it was helpful, but the DT and the IDT, I think probably it was the same standard. So on an overall level, I felt it was a little odd for the reason that new concepts were tested. There was no ABC analysis, and it was very lengthy compared to all the other attempts. So that is what making it little complex. I mean, institute is trying to, I think, test the mental integrity over here, is what I really felt over there. Because after every paper, we kept, okay, this was the toughest paper of the group. Okay, after every paper, we kept on thinking, and institute was just raising its level. I think if you were mentally strong, you could have definitely just gone with the flow, I guess.
True. In fact, I was speaking to a few other of the rankers. They had similar opinion. In fact, one specifically said that he had compared last 10 papers. I mean, he has seen the last 10 papers. He kept the printouts handy with him before during his exam preparation thing. And he said that in the last 10 attempts, at least this particular attempt definitely the level was higher than the previous one.
Yes.
And I agree to that, the fact that it was non-ABC based, new questions and lengthy is itself a good mix to make things tough. And very important what you said, I kind of very appreciate that it was, the institute is testing your mental integrity, that whether you're really prepared or not. So what was your mindset, as in, what should be a ranker's mindset? Because what happens is CMA, the course is vast.
Yes.
Initially, हर कोई सोचता है यार मैं अच्छे से पढूं, but down the line, because not everybody is consistent with their own thing. Somewhere or the other, they distract themselves and they take the other way around. कि यार मैं selective ABC focus, AB study करूं. What is your precise suggestion for any CA student? I mean, whether he's sitting for the first attempt or the other attempt, what should be his mindset for preparation?
I think pretty much, see, sometimes you will have to, because of positive time, a lot of time we end up in going by the ABC analysis. But whenever you're reading it for the first time, please do not do ABC analysis. Give each and every concept, each and every chapter standard its own respect. Give its own time for that. For that matter, there was actually subjects in tax where we used to leave that internet webs, MTZ, 3T, all these chapters were actually ignored. Even in FR, if you see integrated reporting, CSR, all these were actually ignored. Integrated reporting, in fact, came for 6 marks actually in the attempt actually. So my only suggestion to all the people out there, whenever you're reading it for the first time, read everything. Like, don't compromise in your first reading, because unless and until you read each and everything, you will not know whether it is important or not. There might be a lot of analysis that is going outside, but that should not really bother you in your first reading. Don't compromise on your first reading. It should be 100%. From there, you pick on whatever your questions, whatever concepts are more difficult, which are more asked in exams, and which you feel you made a mistake in. Have a register that these are the concepts which institute is testing, which are important, and where you are making mistakes. I still remember in portfolio management, SFM, I was making a lot of mistakes. So I made sure I was actually practicing those sums before the exam. So you do 100%, you analyze, you find which is more important, where you're making mistakes, what are the chances of it coming. If you don't have time, if you have time, even in your first revision, I would say please go with the 100% coverage. In second revision, you might actually want to cut out on some things, because unless and until you explore all the 100%, you might not have an understanding of what even the topic is. Because even if you've read one time, you will be able to write something if it even pops up in the exam, some even relevant portion. Because a lot of people actually leave those, and just because you have written it, there might be a policy that you might get awarded for that. So have 100% coverage in the first reading. If you have availability of time, do it in the first revision, and in the second revision, pick out the cherry or the important points and important concepts, I would like to say. Don't go for straight away ABC analysis. It's not the ideal thing to do, is what I would really say. Not really an ideal, because you can do it in the 1.5 days and all these things. But first reading, please ensure everything is A for you.
Okay. I think that helps, and that's very important. At least people who are confused, they can have a conviction in terms of what the approach should be. Now, some rapid fire, quick ones for you. Social media, you are on what all platforms?
WhatsApp, Twitter, Telegram.
Okay. No Insta for you?
No. Insta was long back gone.
Okay. And LinkedIn, now you will be on?
I was actually on LinkedIn as well, but LinkedIn, the amount of distraction is very less. In fact, you get jealous or motivated in LinkedIn.
Okay. And what was your average mobile time, as in, apart from talking time, surfing time over the net? In the exam
15
leaves
to
last 4 months.
15 to 40 minutes per day. That used to be mainly of Twitter because I wanted to get updates about what is happening. And it used to be WhatsApp. We used to just have a chat among our friends, like outs and all this. Or I used to talk with any faculty. So 15 to 20 minutes and 15 to 40 minutes, music in between. So that was the average time.
Okay. What was your preparation exam leave duration?
4 months.
That's about it?
Yeah.
Okay. How many revisions did you do?
2 revisions. Leaving on the first reading, 2 revisions. So 2 months, 1 month, 1 month was my
1 plus 2.
1 month.
Okay.
Yeah.
And mock test, did you try any of them?
Yes, I tried 2 mock tests. One from the institute's MTP. The second was I purchased it from the outside, and I wrote 1 mock test because I could not evaluate the MTP which was written in institutes.
Okay. During your preparation time, were there any moments of ups and downs, feeling good about your preparation? Not?
Yeah, very much. There are in fact a lot of downs. You would definitely feel demotivated because you've been sitting in the same place for like last 2 months, 3 months, and the world around you is moving, having fun and all this. Despite you're not there on social media, you're having a lot of fun. It all helps there. So yes, I had my own downs over there. Ups where I was able to complete my targets. I felt really happy, got motivated to come back the next day and pull out the plan and complete it. In the times of demotivation, I just thought one simple thing. The emotions of my parents when they see the word pass and see during the result just kept me going. I just visualized that how it would feel, and that's how I pulled it off. Because I like there needs to be an internal motivation is what I feel. Because this 4 months put your heart and soul for the next 40 years is you can enjoy. This is the end of that saying up or low. This is the place where this is the place where you actually materialize it.
No, very true. In fact, I'm sure your parents played a very huge, important role in this preparation.
Very much. I think they really ensured that I had a conducive environment at home and I was not disturbed. Their schedule was prioritized according to me. They made sure I wasn't disturbed. I was untouched. I was not, disturbed or getting any kinds of distractions at them. My younger brother played a big role. Any printouts, any scanning, any type of all this work, he ensured that I just texted him in the next 5 to 10 minutes. He made sure it was done. All this sticky notes, buying stationery, every single thing. Like, for that, I need not step out of the house. So I did not waste my time over there. The parents ensured that this 4 months is not disturbed. They sacrificed a lot. I have seen personally, though they told me, you can really see I was made sure that I get the breakfast, I get the lunch, dinner on time. I was pampered basically. So it was like they just left me alone. I was being in a hostel basically, just that getting all the other things done automatically. They made sure I was not disturbed. They made sure I just focus on. I think a huge part. I think these are some variables which we might not even include when we are telling in terms of preparation, but the environment they created for me was phenomenal. And I think without them, this would have never been possible for me.
No, I agree. It's a hard work of the whole family, and people can use this clip for their younger ones to share that they're expected to do this for the seniors.
Yeah. I think a lot of credit goes to him. I think they say it's an unsung hero for me in this journey. Like he did all the possible help he can from his side.
What's his name?
His name is Harsh.
Harsh. Okay. Say my hi to him. What were your average study hours during the last 3 months and the last 1 month?
So the first 3 months, as you said, it would be somewhere. I used to sit for 12 hours, but sit in the sense 12 hours. Effective would come out to 8 to 9 hours. There would be some kind of movement here and there. So 9 to 10 hours, you can keep it on an average. Last 1 month, 1.5 months, it touched around 12 hours. So not very much beyond that. I am not a person who wakes up at 4, 3 in the morning or not, who sleeps at 3 in the morning. So I'm a kind of person between. So 7 to 11 would be my average day. 7 in the morning to 11 in the night. So somewhere around 9 to 10 hours.
Okay. And what are your future plans after you've cleared your CFO?
Yeah, so currently I'm keeping all my doors open. So I'm not really settled into it because I want to see what each kind of work is offering me, what perspectives do I have in my future growth. So let's see what the Pandora box is all about, and we will just evaluate each and every option. Currently, I even don't know from where I'm going to get offers. It's taking time for me to even settle down right now because until yesterday you were just a meager article assistant and today you're a chartered accountant, and it's changed a lot of things. So for you to digest that, it would take a lot of time. I'm keeping my options open.
Sure. I got your photograph yesterday for, we took it for basically the making the creative for it. So I definitely am sure that you'll be getting a lot of matrimonial offers also very
Yeah.
soon seeing that.
Yeah. In
And
fact, I got a lot of calls. In fact, my parents are getting a lot of calls. So yeah.
fair enough. So talking about matrimonial, how was your first night as a chartered accountant?
I mean, as I said you over the call, there was no first night. It became eventually in the morning. They were like, because by the end of the day, when the calls got over, my friends eventually called me in the night and they were having, because my friends also cleared with me. So we were just having a conversation about
Okay.
all these things. And it was kind of fun because I still remember at 10 o'clock, I called up my friend. I was asking, what are you doing? He's like, I'm watching a movie. He's like, how can you watch a movie when the results are not there? We were discussing just half an hour before the results. We were discussing about all those conversations we had in our exam leaves and like when we used to like pull each other's legs and just push each other, let's do it and all these things. So it just went on and the night just did not come, in fact.
Wow. I mean, it is great talking to you. The level of maturity and the thought process, clarity of thoughts, what you have is something which is exceptional. Thank you very much for all of it,
Thank you,
Kalpesh.
sir.
One last question for you is, would you recommend chartered accountant course to your juniors? And what would be your tip to them?
So it's very simple. I would recommend this course for simple reason. It gives you to start from nothing. It requires you nothing. You require nothing. You just require a mindset of being positive and being hard work. So if you're ready to with that, I think this course is definitely rewarding to you because be it any course apart from chart accountancy, all you require is your investment of time in it. Because unless you don't invest your time, you don't invest your soul and sweat into it, you're not going to get the returns. And I mean, today, India is a country which has been looked by various nations. Like, I'm pretty sure after where Modi went to states and there were a lot of bilateral agreements, India will become a powerhouse soon. There will be a lot of investments flowing in India. So the rise of India as a nation will increase and India will emerge as an economic power center today or rather tomorrow. And India will need a lot of chartered accountants because you need chartered accountants because you need people who understand money. You need people who understand all these taxation, finance, and stuff. Because without that, it would never be possible for you to run a country. And a lot of corporates are definitely going to come here. So the requirement for a CA, both from the clientele perspective, both from an auditing perspective, will definitely increase. So it's a very rewarding course. And I feel the new course is also very much appealing. It is giving you a clear structure in your mind how to approach the course. There's no interruption in between. Once you finish your articleship, then you get into your finals, and all these things are really clear. So you're not stuck into the old cycle. So I feel it's a very rewarding course if you get into it, and it's definitely a place to start if you have nothing to do with or you don't understand you love a few subjects like accounts or tax. It's definitely for you place to start with. So my recommendation is please explore your options. Please very much explore your options and then get into this course.
Sure.
Because any course you get into would require an investment of time. Just keep that in mind. This course, people might say it's tough, people might say it's hard, but that is the case with every other course is what I feel. Because even if you want to get into big B schools, you would require for you to crack all the CAT, be it engineering, be it because if you want to get into the cream of institution, you require the hard work. So just put in your all the options available, search, come into course, give the best. You will definitely go on to have a rewarding part.
Wow. In fact, well appreciated. So, the bottom line is that, yes, it is worth a course doing it. It's will require investment of time like any other course. The most beautiful thing, in fact, I'll pick that line is that it has no expectations when you enter into this particular course. So there's no barrier for anybody who wants to come. Unlike most of the other courses, it is purely based on merit. And there are welcome changes in the CA curriculum as well. The institute has done. Plus the growth story of India, it all culminates into the fact that, yes, CA is for commerce students. I'm sure this is one of the best options in the current scenario. And that is a wonderful, wonderful chat. I've been speaking to so many rankers. This is very special. In fact, to the point, precise,
thank you so much.
Clarity of thought. Really appreciate that, Kalpesh. We will connect more, on placements and other things. Keep in touch. Or
very much.
Queries only students ki, so we'll keep throwing at you. You will be kind
yes,
of
very much. I would very much like to get back to my juniors and all the fraternity out there. So yes, because they have helped me a lot because all the rankers or seniors who cleared the past have really pushed me today to be what I am. So I'm very much willing to give it back to people out there.
Thank you so much for all your time, Kalpesh, and thank you for, in fact, my regards to your parents. Thanks, Harsh, for, helping us getting this particular rank.
Thank you very much.
And thank you from everybody at FAST for, scoring in audit 78. हमने एक टैगलाइन बनाई है आपके इस मार्किंग के बाद कि हम वी यूज्ड टू से ना ऑडिट होगा सबसे
हो
स्कोरिंग,
गया ये, हाँ।
हो गया सबसे स्कोर। चलो, थैंक यू सो मच एंड कीप
Thank
इन
you.
टच, ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट फॉर योर करियर।
Thank you very much. Thank you.